It says the topic for the speed paint on page 142 was a hairy creature. They observe a snowboarder in the rain. So hairy creature observes snowboarder in the rain. So you're not looking at a lot of detail. You're looking at a quick environment. And I think environments are really important for all types of digital painting, anything. So this gives you some quick tips. And I really enjoyed that. They said they trained myself to paint something different, unusual color palettes to break out of the comfort zone. And I used to like that all the time. So you start off with a sketch. So I'm going to start off with my background. I know I'm going to paint some fuzzy guy, one of my son's characters. Not a lot of detail. I am going to use his hills, a couple trees, some of his techniques. I'm going to go ahead and use gradient, come up in here. I have, I already chose it. So it's like a bluish gray, but dark and black. Hit OK. Hit OK, new layer. So I came down to the bottom of my layers palette. I hit new layer, this little plus sign right there. And the old version would be a dog-eared page. And I believe, is it this way? I did it wrong. Of course I did it wrong. I mean, this could work, I guess. We could do it like this. We could do it real dark and then put a road in later or something like that. I don't know. Let's think that through. We'll throw in some hills up here. Let's put them on a different layer. You could use a smudge tool to blur this around. I'm not going to. I like the way my gradient came out. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to throw some, abstract hills in here. It'll make it look like it has trees. And I'm going to use a lot of blues to set it back into space. So I'm going to use, let's see if we can do like a wet brush. In this section here, you have your brushes. You have general brushes. I'm going to go ahead and use wet media brushes. Okay. And I'm going to mix them this way. So that's why I'm using wet media brushes. So I have, this is Kyle's Ultimate Ink and Thick and Thin. Classic cartoonist painting wet blender. There's a blender, so that's cool. And then you have real oils. Let's go with the oil. All right, we're gonna, like I said, I'm gonna go with a lot of blues, blue tones. Almost black. We're gonna desaturate that. It's dark, gloomy. Let's go big. Put in some hills. Oh, it's not quite gray enough. All right, so don't know why I'm whispering. Let's see if this is good enough. And oils on top. That's what it blends like oils. So I can go even darker. Just give me a second here. I just want to put in a hill or two. I'm gonna make them uneven, so it's like a step to here to here. I throw in a little billboard. I might actually extend. I probably should. Let me flip my canvas. Lock the background usually helps, right? Hit OK. Canvas size. Just swap this out. I'm gonna do 11, 8.5. Normally, if you do poster size, would be better. That's fine though. Hit OK. That's okay if it clips. I'm cool with that. Cool with it entirely. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop these guys down a little bit and expand that. Expand my mountains in a minute. Make sure I go over here. I just did it. Come on. Command T. Transform. Hit return. I don't know why that did that. Go back up to this layer, hit Command T. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna make them darker in a minute. All right, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna darken these up a little bit. I'm gonna take the eyedropper tool. I'm gonna select coloring. You know what? I'm not even gonna do that. I'm just gonna use the magic wand, select in between, go to select inverse. Where's inverse? Inverse. Okay. We're gonna inverse this, and I'm gonna throw, some blacks on top. And I was using a brush that was an oil brush. I'm gonna stick with that. I'm gonna go back to the wet brushes. Now, when you up here, it says load, flow, mix, like how much is gonna be mixed in. It's only 7%. Load's 100. Maybe I can switch it down to 60%. Is wet 100%. That's pretty wet, you know. Maybe I could put that down to like 52% wet, right? I could go ahead and I can make it a little bit darker on top, and I can even change. See, it's like thinner and it's spreading in because it's like wet, but it's not super wet. Okay. You see how it smears like oils. Do this so we get different variation of thought I had a wet black brush. What's going on? It's not darker. All right, now it says sample all layers. I don't have that on. It's like that word samples all layers. But that's for later when I'm blending. So what will happen is sample all three of my layers that I have right now. I'll mix the white and even. So I've actually hit sample all layers, just so you see. Sample all layers, and I change this brush to where's the blender? That's real oil, flat wet. There it is, the blender, right? So I'm sampling all the layers and I have a blender on. What's going to happen is it's going to sample my white in there too. See, it's got my grays in there. It's going to sample my white and it's going to start mushing in the white even. All right, so if I had this, once this calms down, paint. And is that 100% wet? 60, some more. And I'm just really covering that up because I really didn't want that. I do want to go darker. I'm going to put a tree-like brush on this in a minute. The reason why it's staying in here is I have this I have it all selected. It's mixing at 7%. All right, I'm going to get a tree-like brush in a second. Let me get that brush going. All right, I just want to show you how it mixes like oils, mixer brushes, you know. All right, so what do we got going on here? Let's go back up to our dry brushes, general brushes, I mean. Do like that. I am going to go into brush settings. Get over here. All right, we're gonna get something like, you know, spiky-ish, something like that. Some spacing and things, make it puffy looking. It's abstract, really. All right, we're gonna go with this. I'm going to release my selection. We're gonna go to select, deselect. I'm gonna go larger. I'm gonna go a little bit darker. And opacity is at 100%. And I'm gonna throw some trees up in here on these mountains. And I can just swing them around back and forth. And they're abstract, so I can kind of blend some of these. It's so close to thick forest or something's going on here. Could be smoke. Who knows what this is? I could actually throw some weird dark tree in the background. I don't know. Nice purple glow. All right, so I'm gonna throw a street up in there. All right, so let's get a road. And I'm gonna see what kind of road. Go to, we're actually gonna build a selection with a pen tool. How about that? We'll come here and we'll build our road. Make it even a little curvy. Maybe I don't know what happens to it. Let's play around with the curves with the pen tool. We have this selection here, and then we also have our convert point anchor tool. Some curves. The reason why I put it on a path is we can make it look like it's going back into space, and I can make this bushier over here. All right, come on, path. All right, so now we have this path, okay? We're gonna use this tool, black arrow path selection tool. We'll go to window, path, window paths, and no, it's hidden. It's so nice of you not to bring it to the front when I wanted you to do it, okay? Anyway, so hit selection. And that path into a nice selection, right? And what we're gonna do is, where's my layers? There's my layers. I'm gonna call that a street. This will be a street layer. Okay. And we're gonna fill this in with like gray. We'll do gray texture. So you know, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. We're gonna go to a brush. Brush. We're gonna go to brush settings. Find something speckly. Or we can even do something normal. And then speckly is better. Something more rashy looking. Texture, definitely a texture of some sort. We could do trees or grass or whatever. Do grass, okay. I say rashy. Oh boy, you all know what I meant. Now I'm gonna get rid of this layer so I can see what I'm doing. Give me a little bit of texture, you know, and then I'm gonna add in you know, double yellow line. That's gonna be a tough one to do. So I'm gonna save the selection, select, save selection, road. Okay, and again, it's blurry-ish, remember? All right, so I'm gonna put a double yellow down the middle. To do that, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move this selection over, select, let's see. Is this still selected? It is still selected, right? Okay, so select, transform selection. We're gonna scoot this guy over a little bit. Okay, and I'm gonna manipulate this a little bit in the path. So let's find paths. We'll turn it back into a path. We're gonna manipulate this guy. It's supposed to be speed painting. Look what I'm doing. Not so speedy. All right, I'm gonna hold down the shift key while I hold down multiple points here. Scooting that over. The reason why I'm doing this is so I can have a nice healthy, that's not gonna be healthy. Nice healthy line going right up the side of it. That doesn't look too bad, you know? That's it. Hold shift key, get these guys scoot over a little bit. Manipulate that curvature a little bit like that. We always see this as a different type of path if we wanted to. We can move that back into the middle-ish. Rotate that a little bit. All right, so we can make that a new path, doesn't matter. So I'm gonna go back to select, and I'm gonna go back to select, save selection. This will be 2, just in case I need to know. 2R for it, right? Okay. All right, so I'm gonna lay up nice yellow line right up on the side of this. Real quick brush, nice brush. Didn't mean to do that. Just regular hard brush, small and quick, right? Right down the edge. I probably could use a pencil, honestly. But let's just try this. We're gonna do a muddy yellow. So we get a nice yellow in here. We're orangey yellow. It's dark. I'm gonna scoot this down the side of it. I'm gonna go to select inverse. Draw a sharp line right down the, I could always start on a new layer in case I mess this up and then merge the two. It's probably the smart idea. Remember, things get larger as they come closer to you in space, so I'm gonna go to edit, undo. And just kind of get tiny, tiny, bigger as it goes closer to us. I'll blur this in a minute. I'm gonna copy that too. So let me erase that little guy right there. Right off the edge there. And I'm gonna go select deselect. I'm going to manipulate this. I'm gonna hit Alt Option. I'm gonna drag this guy over a little bit. It's not, I don't think it's gonna work the way I want it to. Okay, go to, yeah, just like that. And then I'll go to edit and transform. Do like rotate. We can make these guys look smaller. Command T. The white lines on the side of the road. I'm gonna blur these a little bit. Merge these two first. Cut the excess off is what I'm gonna definitely do. So I'm gonna use this. I'm going to cut the excess off. So I'm gonna go back to this layer. I'm gonna hit delete and cutting the excess off. Select deselect. I'm going to then select this layer. I'm actually gonna put a gradient on it. So I'm going to go to select inverse. No, for that I'm going to select in between to add to that selection. By hitting the plus, then I'm going to go to select inverse. Put a darker yellowish gradient on top. And I'm going to go darker yellow over here. Dirty green. Hit OK, hit OK. I'm going to scoot this down here. The other way around. Oops. Something like that. I'm going to deselect it. I'm going to go to filter and blur. Blur. That's way too blurry. That's pointless. All right. Something like that. Hit OK. I'm going to do this. Engagement mode. I'm going to do the same thing on that one. Some of the texture to show through. So I don't want too blurry. I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to get maybe some white lines in the road. I don't know yet. But anyway, it's supposed to be speed painting. So we'll just come back like this. I'll add more trees in on this layer. Or we'll expand that, move that over. We can expand it, move it over. Let's just select this all. Whoa. We'll select this whole big tree right here on this layer. Edit, copy, cut. Edit, paste in place. And then we'll go to edit, transform, scale. And hit return. We're gonna definitely scale this up more. Rotate there, get bigger. Looks very furry. I'm not sure what we're doing with that one yet. We'll just keep them low, bring them over. Nice, right in the middle of the road. We put some grass. So let me see what we have. I might have to put darkness here, a little bit more darkness. Let me throw some darkness behind it, because I think I do. We'll get rid of that real quick. Oh, definitely. Okay, we're gonna throw some darkness on there. Let me get some brush here. And we'll put it on this layer, because we're gonna merge them back down anyway. So Make sure it's at 100%. I'm just gonna throw some black in there. So we're gonna merge these two together. Merge layers. Okay. And our street is I'm gonna go right on top. We need to get rid of so we're gonna go back to select, and we're gonna select the first street. Load selection, select the first street, which is called road. And I'm gonna go back to my fuzziness over there, and I'm gonna delete the excess that dripped over into my roadway out. Like so. Okay. There are some more trees back up in here. That fuzzy, I'm never gonna find it again probably, but I was using a brush that, this fuzzy brush, is that fuzzy brush? I don't know, we'll find it out. All right, let's see what we got here. But that's the road brush, not the brush we wanted. Okay, this is maybe something close to that would be better. This is where we get like a silhouette looking like stuff like trees might look real briefly. Might get that in there, and I'm just kind of going on the side of the road to blend that in. And I'll use a blur on them again. All right, so I could put this guy back on. That's what we have so far. It's pretty cool, right? So we could blur these. We could blur these mountains a little bit more. It's really dark. I'm gonna undo that last bush because I'm not really sure where that went to. Probably like right over my road. All right, so I'm going to, I know it's like lumpy there, but we're doing this quick. I use a smudge tool, fix it up real quick. It helps if you don't have a strange brush. Okay, smudge. Oh boy, I think I just made that worse. All right, and we got a pretty cool scene right here so far. I go up to filter, blur it. Let's see what we got here. See, the trees get too blurry then. So you're going by fast in the rain or whatever. It might be that blurry actually. That's a little blurry, too blurry for me, but I kind of like it. Not bad. Hit okay. All right. Then I'm gonna hit save. Always save. Lots of saving. All right. All right. So I hit okay, and now we're gonna save it. Okay. And then I'm gonna put some rain effects. I'm gonna make a whole brand new layer. And on the road, I could do the same thing too. I could do a dark to a light. So let me do that on the road real quick. Right above the road, I'm gonna make another layer. I'm gonna put a gray tone on it. Gradient. More of a bluer. Okay. No, I could do red, or more reddish actually, because the reddish will be, you know, be a nice tone to set for this type of red. So it comes forward in space a little bit more. Okay. So I'm gonna select this road, and then I'm gonna go deselect. I mean, not deselect, inverse. I'm gonna throw this layer right on top of it. Nothing there, right? Okay. Gradient right on top. I'm gonna change it to where it's like dissolve or screen or something. Do like an exclusion, change opacity, drop it down a little bit. So it stands out. It's gonna be a little bit different. You're gonna see. Could be too harsh. I don't know. I mean, we'll find out. That's for sure. We could lighten this up a little bit. Because it's way too light. See-through, it's so light. Yeah, I'll keep it. I might have to delete some of this gray tone from the back, but we'll see. Otherwise, the texture makes no sense because you really can't see the texture because of this. This gradient's a little too rough back there, and I can get rid of some of that. I mean, I go into the background right here, and we can, use a eraser or a weird texture eraser, actually. Just, delete some of that up, scratch it all up, so you see some of the gray. Go to history, undo. Okay, anyway, so we're gonna make a whole brand new layer. We're gonna paint the whole thing black. Let's dump in the black. All right, then we're going to go up to filter, noise, add noise. It's kind of like a cheater's method, right? Add some noise. Do some blurring. No, we do monochromatic noise. Let's do monochromatic noise. Okay, we're gonna hit OK. And we're gonna play around with the blending mode above this. We could do a darken, which is kind of neat, right? That was a cool effect, right? That was noise. Darken. We can do, that was crazy. Some neat stuff happening here. Let's go to darken. We're going to do a motion blur. So we have to pick the direction we want the rain to be going in. Okay, so we go to filter, blur, 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 motion blur. We can hit OK, and then we can lighten this a little bit. We go to image adjustments, brightness and contrast. We can lighten this up, make it more contrasty, and lighten it up. It's something to play around with. It's just noise. And it looks like rain, possibly, right? It's not too bad. It's in the dark. Hit OK. Save this every so often. This is its own layer. We'll call this layer noise rain. Noisy rain. Okay. Now to build my characters, I could get some light sources. That's where I want my light. The author of the book drew a character and a billboard and a whole city in the background, and I didn't do any of that. All right, so my character, he's kind of silly. He's a little bit fluffy. Let me just draw him in. He's going to be pink. This is at his brightest, so we're going to dull him down, okay? He's a simple character from behind. That's actually probably not too bad to start with, that brush. Yeah, anyway. That's pretty much his whole body. Yeah. Let me get rid of this layer for now. If he's running in the rain, he usually has antenna that are pretty fluffy. That's usually him. All right, so we want the light coming up from up here, so we darken him as we go to the bottom. We darken anything below him. So we can just we could actually throw a gradient on him as a solid color, but that'd be kind of, nah. Could, I suppose. Oh, that was terrible. All right, brush, brush, brush. Go back to the brush. Change opacity. Size. I could just, you know, throw a little bit up here, darkness. Let me smudge this around a little bit. You can use your painting tools. I mean, your mixer brushes. So my son's characters, okay. I could throw the rain back on top of him. It's pretty dark, so I could actually, you know, select my character himself and where's my character at? That was not the right one. Select my character himself, go to select inverse, and I can take the eraser. I mean, I can use like a regular eraser, change opacity on that, and just dilute some of that rain right off of him because it's a little harsh on him in certain areas. So come in here and just kind of clean him up a little bit, make it not as harsh on him. Or I could take it all off. I don't know if I want to do that now. Select deselect. I can just blur him out. So go to filter or motion blur. See him. Slightly blur him. Okay. And I can brighten him. I can change it. Go to image adjustments, saturation. I could brighten him up. Lighter. He's running. I could also make it so he's got, you know, a stream behind him, another character behind him. Make him like, did not mean to move the rain. That is for sure. No, no, no. Let's lock the I can't lock it. Lock the rain. Do like a trail behind him, change opacity on that layer. Put that actually under. Yeah, that's good. And okay. I can make it even lighter and make it like a trail. This way it looks like he's really running because he's more blurrier. Slight blur. Oh, that's something fun to play with. Bump the opacity back up. All right, let me move this out of the way a little bit. I think I moved my rain. I don't know if I moved it back properly. I think I did. All right, anyway, something to play around with. You see this guy running. You're not really sure what's going on there. I'm not even sure what's going on. I don't know if I need that. Yeah, I guess I do need it. I can smudge it out more. Let's use the smudge tool. Let's try that. A little bit larger. It's more motion-ish thing going on. Illustrative. Anyway, let me move this down a little bit. Up, I don't know. Let's see. Change opacity. This is a little bit of a blur. All right, anyhow, I'm gonna make sure I am on a layer that's flattened. So at this point, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna flatten some of these layers, but I'm gonna save each and every single one of them. I'm gonna unlock this noise layer, and I am going to save all these layers because I, you know, feel like that's a new thing. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to, I just made a group. So we're gonna hide these and save them for later. Just make sure they're in there, see? And this one I'm gonna flatten. Hold down the shift key, hit merge layers, right? I'm going to merge these layers, and I'm going to come in with a spotlight. All right, so let me come back in and go up to filter. It's a little bit cheating, but it's a tool that we can use. Render lighting effects. Do something creepy like this. Or I can have multiple light sources. So this would be from like a spotlight, you know, from a lamp specifically. I'm going to use over here. I'm going to brighten things up a little bit. Always blur it down later. I'm going to add a second one so we can hit there's this white. We can change and play around with all that. We can hit OK. But the problem is, this is all we have is right there. This noise just on that one area. We'd want our other area to be still visible. So I go up to filter. Notice everything's gone. So you can't add a second light like that. All right, so how you do add the second light, if you go to filter, you have like two spotlights in it, okay? So if you go to filter, let's see, lighting effects, we can go to 3, triple spotlight. Yeah, I didn't mean for that to happen. But we can move these wherever we want. So we can have one that's across the entire screen. And we can make this one, let's see, wait, just slightly like that in the dark. We're in the darkness. We can pick this guy up, move this over here. We can alter the intensity of this one to be like 100%. And, you know, we could build a lamp for it where light is projecting downward from it. And this one is another light source. I don't know where it's coming from. You can also do this by using overlays and gradients. That's a spotlight, and you can change the colors of it if you want. So this one I'm going to move a little bit. Spooky. I like it, hit OK. Here we had to still build the lamp. So we had to build like some sort of dark light here. I can build it on this layer and then merge it in. Let me zoom in. I'll have it hanging out from over there. I don't know where it came from, but you know, we don't need to know those details, do we? So I can kind of do this. Let's get rid of that. Something like that where it's opacity's only at 60%. I was wondering what's going on. You know, because all right, so let's just sketch this in. We have, you know, people don't need to even see all the details really. So we can just kind of sketch this in, and then we can use the paint bucket to dump in the rest of it. We smooth this out. I mean, remember, we're going fast, right? And the rain's still above it. Oh, geez, look at these. I might put another rain above it, I think. So 110, this is perfect. We know it's not, but it's supposed to be like a speed thing going on. There's nothing fast about any of this right now. All right. All right, back on so the layer goes on. You can barely see those details, you know, you can just kind of see that the light's coming down from there. I could throw a little bit of rain texture back on top of this lamp because it's underneath, because, well, I could just go ahead and steal from here. So we have it right there, see. So now the rain is laying technically on top of the lamp, is out. That's so funny. Okay. Let's see. And the rain is on top of it. It didn't really make that much. It's below it. Always change opacity, it doesn't matter. And when you print it, you'll never see any of that. You just see it's like silhouette of a lamp there. You'd have something there. I don't know. It's something to think about. You know, create an environment really quickly. You can do the motion blur at a direction. You can add airplane in the back, stuff like that. This is what we got. So we'll save this.